Welcome to the Growth and Banter Podcast. My name is Blake McCullough, CEO and founder of GMS Media Group, one of Australia's leading digital advertising agencies. This podcast is for anyone looking to learn the insights and strategies from industry leaders and how to build a successful life. Today, we're joined by Kelly Phoenix Rose, and she's going to be sharing the strategies and insights around how to detoxify the mind, body, and soul and the importance of living a high-performance life. Hope you enjoy. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Pleasure. Excited to have you on today. And I want to start because I guess your profession has a few titles to it: integrated therapy, shamanic healing, spiritual healing. Mm-hmm. So talk us through, I guess, your journey to sort of how you got to where you are today and exactly what you do and how you sort of go about healing people in a spiritual, mind and physical manner.
Thank you. Yes, someone was asking me before. It's like, integrative cellular specialist. And it's like, what is that?
Yeah, what is that?
And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, maybe I won't go into that title. Maybe it's spiritual advocate for cancer and chronic illness and menstrual disorders. And it's like, what does that mean? All right, gosh, it's shamanic healing. Oh, you've heard of that stuff. You know?
That's what I use. I use the shamanic. That's a buzzword.
Yeah, beautiful. And I guess, it's all of those things, right? It's I predominantly work with primordial energy lines and really work with connecting people back to the relationship between the microcosmic, so the cellular level, all the way up to the cosmos cycles and there's no separation. And the question really of how I got to that was really trauma. Trauma, suffering, pain, illness, all of the stuff that in somewhat, and what I also see with a lot of people is force us to go to those places. We're all hunky-dory until shit hits the fan, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh God, that tool didn't work anymore.
The wheels fall off the wagon.
Yeah, that's right. And so we gasp, and we then generally lean into when the doctors say, oh, we don't know, or there's that big question mark, then we expand and we find people like me that have, cultivated some type of sense and navigational tools to help with that heavy amount of weight and stuff that comes up. And so for me, I coming onto my menstruation, I had like chronic symptoms, right? Like from the get-go, and what I couldn't understand, like I'd go to my GP and they'd be like classic, get on the pill or do this thing, or, the standard kind of procedure when it comes to...
take a pill, here you go.
Totally, right? When we really think about female anatomy and physiology and things like that, you can never really get a fine answer. A lot of our studies are based off men because the female body changes all the time, right? So anyway, the point of it is, I did all of that like everyone else does, and it didn't work. And the big why like resonated with me. It was like, but hang on, I don't get this. Like, why does that girl at school, why is she fine? And I'm not, and it really did influence my life in a very negative way. I missed a lot of school. I dropped out of school early. And from there, I think without that overarching, strong family bond and right societal support, I quested. I didn't have boundaries at that stage. I was like, okay, I'll try this, try that, try this, try that, and kind of just went with whatever worked, free to good home kind of thing, right? And that led me, it was like 15 years questing all around the world, going to some of the best specialists, doing all this type of stuff until I found a therapist that was more on the holistic side, one that was more starting to tap into the emotional connection. And here I am, like, 25, 26, whatever. It's like, how many years have I been just like self-medicating and like the drugs were getting stronger and, I was getting more space kid-eddy. But to be honest, it was like, as soon as I started to cry, right, my symptoms started to dissipate, right? And for me, that was inspiring. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why don't you tell me this 20 years ago? All I needed to do was to cry and start to let go.
Tapping into your spirit and your soul a bit more.
Yeah, more of that unseen, right, as subconscious and how that influences the mind-body connect, right, which is basically what holistic therapy is, and we're talking about cycles, is, seeing the body as a whole, right?
And I think it's common that we know the relationship between the mind and the body, but the mind, body and spirit, that third element there, I think people neglect a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so that for me was something that really gave me enough harmony and inspiration to dive in deeper. And that's when I started to that long training, education, qualifications into this path, which did not end at certification. Right? Because you mentioned something really special was spirit. And it's like, I'd get to these points even with certified holistic medicine. I'd be like, okay, so what's the A equals B equals spirit? It's like, you won't find that in a case study, Kel. And I'm like, what do you mean, And
goes beyond maths, right?
Totally, right? So that again led me on a different path to even deeper into more unseen, subconscious, more galactical aspects, let's say, or universal components. And starting to dive into the relationship of spirit.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and that's exactly how I look at life. Like the universal laws, how we are sort of a part of the universe, and our construct is very much how the universe is made up of. And I think if you can understand that from a human behavior point of view, life starts to make a little bit more sense in a way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even to me, putting my hands down to say, that's what got me through cancer.
Yeah.
Right? Is this, what is the thing that houses life force most out of anything we know? Right? And it's like, well, look at the relationship of life around us. What is it like on the earthly plane? What's going on up here? And everything in between. This is life. So what parts in that reflection, as you said, are out of balance or not in alignment with, right?
And we're certainly in alignment because we're dressed the same too, right?
Right? And we did plan it. He's not lying. You actually wanted to. Can you do this really cool thing? And no, I'm joking, didn't.
Fully unplanned, guys, for those watching. But no, it's really interesting, and I think we've done a few things together. I did the mini detox, the 10-day mini detox with you in July, and that was phenomenal. Even just understanding what we're putting in our bodies. It's not just about the food and sort of drink as well that we're consuming. There's so much more to it to achieve it in performance. But yeah, the 10-day mini detox that I did with you a couple of months ago, that was phenomenal in what I achieved over those 10 days, clarity, getting off sugar, coffee, and then having even just a huge amount of weight loss in 10 days as well. It's just amazing how we're so stuck in a way, we're creatures of habit. There's so many things that we consume that we're not even realizing is bad for our body.
Yeah, that's right. And the key component of that detox is rewiring all of that relationship and introducing in a space for spirit.
Yeah.
Right? We did morning practice. We did an opportunity where, when we choose to let go of all of the things that we lean on, then we have this ability to be able to receive something a bit more. Right? So all of that is, the combination of the mind, the body, the spirit, the breath.
Yeah,
right?
the movement.
All of it.
Yeah.
So it's so good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're powerful, aren't they?
And how about the 28-day detox? Because I've not done that level. I've definitely done months where I've removed certain things from my diet, whether it is certain food or drink. But yeah, how's the 28-day detox go?
Well, funnily enough, that's why the 10-day has been created, right? Because I was like, okay, 28 days, nothing. Let's go. Let's open up this portal. Let's clean up the system. Let's hold a place where people can come, twice a year to show up and clean out the ancestral traumas and, all of the staticness within the line of consumerism and how that affects our day-to-day living, right? Because we all want to have one hand in spirit. We all have this I really want to achieve my goals, and whether it be lose weight, get my skin good, really maybe even attune higher to spirit or whatever it might be. But we're all faced with these daily mundane things, right? It's how do we do both? And ultimately that's the biggest component of it is we actually need to learn how to have one hand in spirit in the relationship with it whilst also doing the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday kind of gig, right? Not everyone can do that, right? It actually is hard work because the one thing that happens, the 10-day is a little bit easier because it's 10 days, right? You kind of can build that stamina, get in,
the finish line sort of around the corner as well, right? 28 days, fuck, what am I in for?
Totally. We go for the full cycle. There's no hiding there, right?
No.
And so, the 28-day it's a bigger prayer, right? We have a lot more practices in that. It goes for longer. We really do get an opportunity to reset the gut microbiome. But ultimately, we're working with the mind and working with integrating spirit more, right? And that's where I guess the shamanism kind of plays out to a degree is, can we start to have practices in our daily life that are portals or openings or opportunities for us to connect with spirit? And I know the difference massively between the 10-day and the 28 days that, we work with plants. We work, especially in the August one, we work with eucalyptus, and really being able to introduce that into our bodies and understand how that frequency starts to play out when we're working with the energy of it, the spirit of it. Yeah.
And then I think for those who might not have done a 10 or 28-day detox, or maybe they're thinking like, what's so hard about a 10-day detox? Let's talk about what's involved in the elimination of that 10 days so people can understand that it's not just, cutting out one thing. It's a few things at once.
Yeah, that's right. And the 28-day one does go a little bit bigger. But yes, absolutely. I guess, you know what, it's like we all get our knickers in a twist when it comes to detoxification, purification, all this type of stuff. We think, okay, what is the exact precise thing that I have to do? And what is it that I need to eliminate to get it kind of out? It's like, actually, you know what, let's just cut out the Industrial Revolution. Just cut that out. Cut out, just pretend it's you and nature, and you go off, and there's no Coles, there's no Woolies, right? There's none of that. That's what we eat.
No bakeries.
No bakeries, right? So basically we fast, right?
Okay.
We would hunt and would gather along the way seasonally, right? We wouldn't be scrolling for Netflix. We wouldn't be, swiping left or right. We'd be sitting and listening, right? We'd be attuned a little bit more into the natural survival mechanisms within us and sharpen up our senses so we can hear, see, sense, feel, and experience more of life's interconnectedness. Kind of like Avatar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I love it how people kind of go, oh my God, isn't this incredible movie over here? And it's like, well, no, that stuff can exist.
Yeah, that plays a really important message, I think, that movie, that I think people don't understand, like the connection to Earth and our bodies as well.
Definitely. So, in the process of that, what we really eliminate is anything that's been tampered by human, right? So we eat a lot of meat. We eat vegetables, salads, water, all of the good stuff. And all of a sudden you watch what happens when that elimination of all the glucose comes out of the system is that our traumatized inner child stuff comes up. So ultimately it's a mind game over anything. It's we really practice more on, okay, how do you navigate when it's just you and your energy? How do you navigate when you're not distracted or being influenced by something else? What does it feel like to just be you? Right? And that's hard. Can be hard.
I found, because I've done like no coffee before, and it's definitely given me some headaches, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are listening that drink coffee every day. I probably have like one strong coffee in the morning, maybe another sort of shot in the afternoon, but rarely. It's usually just the one in the morning. And removing coffee and then sugar at once, it was like a 3-day hangover. Like I think we started on the Wednesday, didn't we? And then even the Friday night, like 3 days after, I was crashing in the afternoon and having like a 2-3 hour nap before I even went to bed. It was just that sort of like depletion of toxins out of my body. Saturday I came good, but it took like 3 days for me in that 10-day initial period to come good.
And I don't know whether it's just the coffee. It's probably
sugar.
actually...
I think it was the compounding, because I've done coffee only, but not the sugar and coffee. The sugar was a massive like energy kill. Yeah, I was just crashing. It was crazy.
Your body says, hey, now that you got all the shit out of the way, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, oh God, I actually can feel myself now.
Yeah,
right?
that's
No
it.
wonder. So I reckon that that's good. And that's what we should be doing, right? Ultimately, we want to take this kind of alchemical shift in somewhat serious enough to go, okay, well, I'm going to need naps. I'm going to need to let things go, right? Because when you're not drinking coffee, you're not stimulated, all of a sudden you're actually like, no, I don't feel like going there, or I don't want to do this. I actually just want to...
You're listening to your body versus medicating it, right?
Right.
Yeah, so true. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's when we get to that listening, right? So this is the whole point of it, is like when we get to that listening, what we can hear is not just... what we want to do. It's like the sound of our soul. It's the sound of our spirit. It's the sound of, our guiding lines to destiny, right? What really, really aligns with us, for us, without any interference, right? Like that pure truth of the heart.
Yeah.
And that's what we really want, because if we follow lines and, get all the stimulation and just kind of like a puppy, just doing everything, we end up at the end of that road going, fuck, this sucks, right? I'm actually not happy at all, right? It's like you follow that nice little thread, we get to the place where we actually feel embodied, empowered and fulfilled, right? Yeah.
So it's clear that to, I guess, achieve optimal health or sustainable health, it's not just about what we eat or drink. So what is sort of like, I guess, the strategies or areas that we need to focus on outside of what we consume for someone to really achieve inner performance, in their everyday sort of life, whether it is family or their profession?
Yeah, beautiful question. So really everyone is completely unique, right? We're all at a particular level. I mean, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, this is now coming from my bias. What so far on this day, what I've come to is, we're born into this with a level of karmas and dharmas and challenges and tests and levels of what our soul needs to experience to be able to get the most out of it, so that then we can eventually reincarnate and go sit with the bodhisattvas and the enlightened community, right?
Yeah.
And so for this case, it's a matter of everyone being completely unique to ensure that truth of what actually it is for them in their creative, unique, essence of who they are gets met. Because there's a lot of, we get told how to eat, we get told how to work, we get told how to, we're really conditioned when we come to think about all of the avenues that it comes in. And there's one aspect where it's like, eat well, sleep good to maintain that. But are you actually nourished? Are you actually nurtured? Are you actually getting the most out of your life? And being that, whether it be performance, it could be, I just want to be the best mother I want to be, or it could be, I'm going to be a CEO, or I'm going to be a, whatever it is, whatever is ringing your bell, it takes a level of understanding how to use your vessel, right? Because there's different tools for different things, right? So ultimately, I really do feel it is knowing the difference between thoughts and feelings, right? Being able to show up in the places that are uncomfortable and require growth on a deeper level, to be able to hand over more of this trust in that unique creative energy to guide you, so that there is more of a flourishing of a fulfilled aspect. Because, being let's say, for example, a CEO is only going to tick those boxes until you go into retirement. You see a lot of people when they finish work, all of a sudden
their
get
sense
sick.
of purpose is gone. Yeah.
They don't know what to do. And same with, women, they get less pretty.
And same with even like professional sports players that might only have, expiry date of 35, 40 until they naturally have to retire from that particular field. So that's also something, if they don't have that purpose, like how do you continue to sustain what you've been, usually done?
That's right. Yeah. Spirit definitely wants to ensure that it keeps growing. So if you are in alignment with it and how to attune to it, you're always going to be somewhat fulfilled to be with it, right? And that is what is the tricky part, is how do I be with it? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the connection between the mind, body, soul is obviously super important. So many people, I feel, they understand physical health. I think that's sort of like a bit more of a common, even though a lot of people still do neglect that. But I think that's sort of the first thing we go to. If we're not healthy, let's go to the gym, let's exercise. Like that's sort of the first sort of knee-jerk reaction. Then the mind, tapping into your psychology, your inner sort of psyche, that's probably more of a secondary thought. Then the spirit. Why do you think so many people neglect, or what's sort of the common mistakes people are making? They don't have that harmony in place.
Such a good question. So many people mistake spirit and ego.
Yeah, right.
Right? The amount of people be like, I'm having this freaking spiritual experience, but they're so still in their mind and in their control.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of people that, do these spiritual practices that are actually just endurance practices that are just managing their mind. They're nowhere near spirit, right? And they're having these outcomes which might feel euphoric, and they're disassociating or confusing that with, oh, this is spirit. It's like, no, that's a bunch of cortisol or a bunch of dopamine or, whatever it is that's running through your system right now. That's not spirit, right? So I guess, why most people neglect the actual real depth of it is because it will break open your ego.
Yeah.
Everything that you believe in and that keeps you safe or keeps you in this constructed, I'm in some sense of control, right? I've got my shit sorted. It's like, no, okay, spirit's completely different, right? It's completely limitless. It will challenge and bring you to capacities and limitless potential far beyond whatever, even though you think that your mind might be hitting its targets and might be going, I am so freaking awesome, right? Spirit can take you a little bit further, right? Because there's no limitations there. But the reality of it is what it feels like to connect with spirit means that, oh my God, I have to look at that thing that makes me feel scared. Oh my God, I have to look at that thing that makes me feel like I can't express myself. I have to look at that thing that I don't want to say makes me vulnerable.
Yeah, so it's a bit more vulnerable to really
Right?
tap into that. Yeah.
Just for the ego.
Yeah.
It's not actually vulnerable. Nothing actually happens. It's not like you're going to be like, okay, oh my God, if I speak my truth, that person's going to kill me. That's what we think, right? But actually, that's what it feels like. But that's just the weight of that is the mind kind of trying to keep you, that safe is like, no, I want to stay in control.
Yeah.
Whereas actually when we, do that, we actually then can realize that, oh, I exposed myself as vulnerable. Actually, it didn't kill me,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, and I think it's like we're so designed, in the first 7 years of our life based on our environment. So I think it's very hard to really step outside of your inner dialogue and what you've been taught and how your environment's molded you to that. So I guess when people go to see you in different walks of life, what are some of the practices that you take people through, both on like an introductory level all the way through to maybe a bit more of a trauma level?
Yeah, good one. And, before I answer that, I just want to add in there, why do you think we're so easily controlled? What would happen if we weren't, right? If we weren't conditioned in that way? It's like all of a sudden we'd have these free-thinking people.
Yeah.
It's free-feeling people, right? Anyway, just wanted
Society doesn't want us to be like that.
What is society? I don't know.
Government?
Anyway, I just wanted to add that in. I'm not going
We'll go down a
this-
rabbit hole there.
Yeah, I'm not going down this conspiracy theory at all. Okay, so what are some of the practices? Okay, yeah, that's big, vast. It depends on, for me, it depends on where that individual is in the golden light thread, right? Because, I have a vast array of skill sets that can be applied, right? And there's definitely no point trying to get to the rattling ancestral traumas of the situation that I potentially can see guiding the situation when potentially this person doesn't even know that their brain and body are different, right? So for something like that, it can start with, simple breathing, just getting them back into their body, whether it be asana, yoga practices, sitting in nature, touch is actually a really important thing. Just even getting, lying them down, getting your hands on their shoulders or something just to feel the contact of another person. I guess the art of being a shadow worker is being able to understand when someone's being led by their ego mind or how to gear them into the parts within the uncontrolled mind, the feeling body and what's really there. And so really, I guess my main job is to ensure that we get out of that state of being, right? Like we've already mentioned, sometimes people need a combination. They need practice. They need to detox. They need to maybe get off the stimulants so that they can start to feel their body, right? Definitely when it comes to women with menstrual disorders and things like that, it's a combination of education. We do need to understand the mind does. I don't want to keep saying it's all the mind and it's such a bad thing. It's actually not, right? The masculine aspects of the body are really important, fundamental. So we have to consider that some things need education, right? We need to be able to tell and explain theory and then apply practice. So when it comes with other components, it's how do I get them back to nature? How do I get them to understand that there's a bigger thing happening and that, this intertwinedness of being able to be supported naturally without having to do anything. It's a big difference between me and other therapists is that I'll try and lead you back to sitting under that tree rather than going, I have the power, come and see me every week, right? It's like, okay, well, come see me until we get you confident enough to understand what's really going on here. Then we're going to start practicing.
I guess it comes back to that old saying of like us needing to be grounded as humans, right? And I think like we living in a city environment, fast-paced environment, even as Sydney, it's sometimes you do forget to be grounded and take your shoes off and feel the grass in the floor.
Right,
which you did when you got into this room.
I did. I took my shoes off.
I should follow suit, but then we'd look exactly the same though if I took my shoes off.
Go on, please do it.
And then another. You came into GMS and sort of did a bit of a lunch and learn with my team, and they were amazed at sort of what you were sort of saying on that session. So we can go into some of those topics, but one of the ones I think that really wowed us was water. And I'm hearing it a lot now recently. And like I grew up with filtered water, which was like a privilege, right? But I then just, when I started living on my own, I've always just gone back to tap water. And it's only now I'm starting to revisit, the sort of importance of having activated water. And I think you sort of really delved into that quite well. And my whole team now is afraid of drinking tap water, so thank you. But I built I bought a filtration system that basically has like more activated water in the office now that people can use. But yeah, talk us through this topic because it's amazing.
Oh, I love that. And it's not just water, right? Like, we use water as it's a fundamental, we're like such a big component of our lives, right? But really the key component of the water is the hydrogen, right? Is that it's life force. It's like we have so many symptoms, we get lethargic, we're working really hard. How do we stay healthy, achieve our goals, our performances, all those type of things, is really understanding that it's like, okay, life force is important to engage in for you to have energy, right? So water, for example, when it is coming out of a tap, it doesn't have much contact with the life-giving components that give it the hydrogen needed, right? It comes from sky, dam, and
sits there dormant.
Then it's chemically treated, and all of a sudden, what the permeability, or I guess the whole presence of what water does, is that it needs hydrogen. It needs life force to become its highest potential. So it will get that, right? Otherwise, it's just the whole purpose. It's there. So if you're drinking water that doesn't have it in it already, then it will take yours when you drink it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the scary part.
Well, I guess it's biochemistry at its finest, right? It's not actually anything too spiritual there, as is all scientifically proven. And the same goes with, if we live in apartments and we're not, getting sunlight on our skin and sitting on the earth and, engaging in the aspects of earth, air, fire, water, the elemental forces that have for millennia, allowed us to survive here and harness life force. This is like the biggest thing here is, so water is a massive component, and it changed my life absolutely, shifting gears from that. Yeah, I've got we've got a jug at home now in the fridge, and the office we've got it has like sort of more minerals and rocks and stuff, so it filters through and then lands in that sort of area there. But we've also got a client, hydrogen water. So, we're sort of, there's a new buzz, right? And I keep hearing a lot of people going, one thing I won't drink, it's tap water in restaurants. And so, it is a sort of more of a, I guess, awareness happening right now. But how bad is like drinking water that goes into a dam, like for us? And I'm sure most people would be drinking tap water, because like having a filtration system it's not a cost-effective solution, like having it in the home, but there is other solutions in place where people can sort of go and, buy a bit of a bottle or a jug to filter it. Is that right? So water is life.
Yeah.
Right? Hands down. So when you ask how important in it, it's like water is the only thing that we should be concerned about, really. And not just from the tap that we drink, right? Water on a global scale, right? It's like the minute that purity of the water goes, what's going to happen? Right?
There was a documentary with Zac Efron, and he goes around the world and visits all these water stations in like all these different countries and tests like the quality of the water. I can't remember which country it was. It might have been France or something, but they had like filtration systems all through the city. So their like bubblers were literally filtered water.
Right.
Amazing documentary.
Great. Yeah. Let's sign a petition for stuff like that. It's really, really important.
Let's go city water.
Right? Like hydrogen, water has so many functions within the body, right? And one of the big ones is, gene mutation, right? Gene mutation is when the immune system starts to actually mutate to ensure that it can match with the viruses and the external invaders that come in to bond and bind to be able to then eliminate, right? So hydrogen in the water does that. That's really, really important. So then when we start to think about things like the massive viruses that have kind of come in and whatnot, and then we're drinking water that doesn't have that and everyone's getting sick, and you say, how important is water? It's like pretty fucking important, right?
When we're, 70% water as well.
Absolutely right. And that also goes for the emotional body too, the water body, the feeling body, right? It's like water holds energy, right? So I people go, okay, what's your strongest tool in the box, Kel? It's like tears, right? It's like if you can cry, right, that is the most free medicine that you can possibly have. It's a filtration system of the body, right? It really does get what is muddy out.
Totally makes sense. If we're consuming, we're so focused on the right foods to eat, why are we not looking at the water we consume?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe because it's see-through, like it's the same.
Yeah.
Looks the same.
Well, then we'd have to, government might have to spend a ton of money to get filtration on our water systems.
Absolutely. And you sort of segue into, I feel this year, maybe even last year, and since COVID really, I was super sick frequently after COVID. And I think there's a lot of conspiracies obviously during that lockdown period. I don't even know what's right or wrong, but I do feel that even my team, there was a period this year and last year where we were just getting sick so much more frequently. So what's your take on that? Like, do you think that our immune systems have been so compromised, or like what, or are we just more aware of it? Like, what's been the take there on compromised immune systems since lockdown?
Okay, well, I didn't see any COVID in the bush.
Yeah, right.
When I was there.
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of sums that up here. But we're really looking at, I don't want to get too controversial in it, because when we have to look at the table that we're standing on, right? It's already got a wobbly leg. Now let's just chuck a virus on top of it and then kind of go, well, why is it the virus that it's like, well, no, hang on a sec. It's, our immune system is more than just that. It's the elementals. It's, the stress that the mind plays on the fear of a virus is more damaging to the immune system than probably the virus itself, right? Because the moment that we have an association to anything that is a threat for us, our immune system is actually switched off, right? So that's kind of the key components here, is like, let's not get too fiddly-diddly in the details of the thing, because there is a far greater and more powerful presence, negative or positive, at play here. And that is the connection to the mind, the body, the feelings. And when we remove and diffuse the fear behind a thing that controls us, all of a sudden we start to shift gears into a seat of power. So then we can go, okay, look at all of the ripples of thoughts and feelings and stresses and our nervous system that COVID had on us, more so, right? I'm sure if we were able to frolic and, be living in harmony with all of our truth, and then a virus came along, right? It'd be like, oh, you're in, out, bit of snot, whatever, see you later. But all of a sudden there's this real heavy, dormant cloud where all of a sudden we're even like...
And there was a lot of fear-mongering as well. So
right?
I never really thought of it that way. Like, the whole stress of that process, work stress, people out of business stress, just the whole being locked into one room stress.
Right.
And then a lot of people not having access to nature.
Yeah.
I was so thankful that I was near the beaches, so I was able to sort of have that in front of me in that 5K radius period, but not everyone had that. So it's like, there's a lot of mental stress that I guess would have then helped with that sickness, post-COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, and people obviously don't know how to deal very much so with, okay, remove the thing that you're so used to, which is go to work, 9 to 5, do your thing, get your latte, get your thing. You're in this nice little bubble where you feel like everything's safe and controlled and organized, and all of a sudden that all gets taken away. What's left, right? We haven't got any cultivated skills to be able to manage uncomfortable states of being, right? So then what comes up? right? This is where all of our traumatized stories, the things that we haven't addressed, how is the relationship with our emotional body? How's the relationship going with our thoughts? How's the relationship going with our ancestral? Like all of a sudden we're in Sacred Femme world. We're in, the uncontrolled state, right? We now start shifting gears and we're like, fuck, I don't know how to do that. No one's ever told me how to do that, right? And so then, even now, like someone sneezes in the office now and it's just like, oh, no, I'm not sick. I'm just, you're like, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I think
it
was scary to sneeze in front of other people for a period there. I think it's okay now. I sneezed in front of someone today and it was just like, bless you, carry on.
Yeah.
I think we're past that point surely.
Hopefully.
But yeah, I think the whole compromisation of the immune system, the stress as well, and then people trying to kick back into gear. Like, what are some, strategies that you feel could be really good for people to sort of snap out of that mindset? Because I think people are still wary of, and having said that, like, I do feel that as a society, and whether this is more national or global, I brought this up with someone recently as well, around like a bit more of a healthy shift that's going on right now, not just happening in, older generations, but like I've got, some staff members that are in their early 20s doing, big detoxes, 90 days off, 75 hard. It's really, really fascinating to see. Whereas I know myself growing up, with more of a nightlife sort of orientation with, no lockdowns and also no lockouts, was a little bit more free for all. But what do you think's caused? Do you think like COVID has caused this societal shift in more of a health conscious environment, or where do you feel this like health conscious shift has come from?
I don't know whether there's a health I don't know whether there's a health conscious
like, run
shift.
clubs, there's more awareness happening right now around.
I feel there's a part of us, right, is that, we're not in the burning ages anymore, right? It's like, things like yoga emerged from, the 70s, 80s, and now we can start to, this contact with spirit and health. It's like all of a sudden that's coming from a deeper part within us, right? It's like we actually all want to be healthy because it feels good. And the reality of that is sometimes we feel very much we're forced to do things that we don't want to do, right? So I don't think there's anything more than a shift. Actually, people are more now being exposed to the fact that it's not weird.
Yeah.
To then now.
It's cool to be healthy.
In somewhat, right? It's like there's a now actually it's cool. Yeah, it's cool to be healthy instead of going, okay, let's just drink till 6 a.m. and go as hard as we possibly can, last man standing.
There's a time and place for that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like actually, there's this elevated consciousness of actually this does result in XYZ for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm all for it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome to see younger generations getting on top of their health and, catching it early and be more health conscious. And perhaps COVID in that lockdown period did sort of give people a bit of a taste into what it's like to remove yourself from certain things. And, the whole world was snapped into a rhythm of like, where our health is compromised and we need to get on top of our health. So it was a big universal sort of cry there to make sure that everyone was healthy. But yeah, it's fascinating to see.
And spirit is a component where, just to add that component into COVID chat, is, there is no illness in the frequency of ether.
No.
Right? And so having an engagement with that frequency, in this mundane can be very beneficial. And this is coming from, again, something that was very effective into getting myself into remission, right? Was a lot of people like, well, what did you do? How'd you do it? And it's like, okay, yet regardless, my immune system was completely rat shit, and it was this fine balance of, Eastern and Western. It's like, okay, do the biochemical, mind, body stuff, but then actually the relationship with the frequency of spirit and life force, right? That was something that's like, well, how do I embody that? How do I actually receive that? How do I actually work with it to support myself massively? And so hopefully there's a shift in, a greater concept where leaning more into health conscious and exploring more expansive possibilities when it comes to health. I think ultimately is the real take it home number.
Yeah, cool. And again, for if someone's not quite ready for a 10-day detox or a 28-day detox, tongue twister, what what strategy, like what sort of take home advice or things that people can start doing to maybe remove from their day-to-day that could be really compromising their health from a mind, body, spirit point of view? Like what are some immediate things that we should be doing every day?
Yeah, absolutely. Engaging with nature in some level, whether it be, even looking up, right? Like you notice, and I want everyone to do this, walking down the street, you're so in thought that you generally got your face focused downwards.
On your phone, about to run into a pole.
Right? Or even like just, even when we're sitting, we can sit there with our eyes like down like that. Just shift your head.
Yeah.
Just shift your head up and start to engage in like that expansive energy of above. You watch that play out in the influence of your mind, right? And that's the same if you were to go, okay, I just want to go and sit and engage in the movement of life. So whether it be sunrise at the beach, just sitting in your backyard under a tree, anything that engages a bit of the bigger picture is extremely beneficial for your health and well-being, especially your mind, which then snowballs effects to every other system in your body.
Yeah,
right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I guess like with, you building your personal brand up now, I've got a taste from it from an individual point of view through to a group setting with the Lunch and Learn you did with GMS. What sort of things are you looking to do to sort of, help more people on a bigger level?
Oh, thanks. Great question. Yeah, it's like there's that real kind of driven character within me. He's like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then it always comes back down to that real deep-centered heart, soul work. And, I love teaching. I love training. I love really getting people, giving them as much as information as they need and practices and tools to be able to do what I do so that they're empowered enough to make better decisions and that be a ripple effect around. So I'm offering free Navigating Cancer Well, which is an online group space, support space for people going through cancer that just actually really want to understand how spirit can get involved in that journey. So that's something that is happening once a month. I really love doing these detoxes and deep dives, a place bringing people together, a place that is accountable where, we remember that it's easier doing it together, right? Doing the practice, eating well, showing up, teaching women how to work with their cycles, right? How to, really understand that purification process for them doesn't have to be painful and hideous and uncomfortable and psychotic on some cases. And really there's lots of talk about, membership platform in the future, but I don't want to, I don't know yet. I'm not going to start doing that. It's just really ensuring that this long, light lineage of work gets attended to wherever you are on the spectrum of it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And any specific styles of, aside from obviously people going through that sort of stuff, like what advice would you be giving people like on an everyday sort of point of level? Like I think I've got a lot of insight and gratitude from stuff you've done, with us. And I think like I've definitely taken on board, the 10-day detox and the diet level. The early morning yogas was fun. That was something, I've done yoga before, but 5:30 a.m. for 10 days straight. That was interesting.
It's good though, wasn't it?
Yeah, like there's so many people that just live hectic lives. Even my business partner, we're working all day. He goes home and he's got 2 kids, and there's not so much free time that everyone has in their spare life just to go out and go and explore nature and stuff like that. So what are some quick fixes aside from obviously getting some hydrogen water tapped into their filtration system?
Yeah, so this is a really key thing. If you could take 10 breaths with absolute connection to spirit, right, is enough to nourish you for 10 weeks, right? The art here, it's not about time. It's about really understanding the difference of being in your body or not. So you could take, 10 minutes, even if it was 3 minutes, just to really, let go.
Yeah.
Let go of everything and just sit in a room for a moment and just feel, right? And completely let go. shift gears completely, that's what I'd be recommending doing. Not doing a practice, not doing any more of things or getting into the doing more of spiritual practice, is actually being fucking still, right? Focus, breathe, connect into how you're feeling. And big supportive advice that I'd be giving to the people that are really, really busy and have hectic lives is, I know that sometimes it can get really tense and intense inside, right? And that does not have to be the story. And so if that's one thing that you can take home and just kind of have in the back burner, it's like, in that moment of insanity where you think you're just going to lose your shit and it's all just getting too much and life's getting on top of you, this is only feeling this way from the perception that you have in that moment. So my advice there is to just remember that can change, right? And it really is a matter of working with the how.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I did some breath work twice now. So I think last Saturday, Coast and Nige breath work. It was awesome, different. This was a whole session of breath work.
Great.
In Bondi. It felt like, so I was training in the beforehand, and then so you sort of tense and everything, and then amazing what, like, just being present and going through that sort of cycle of, focusing on your breath, the difference it makes and how relaxed you feel after it.
Totally. Breath is an elemental force. It's the air element, right? Greatly affects your mind. Sit with a fire if you can. If you could choose over winter having a heater or fire, sit with fire, 10 minutes with a fire, right? Direct contact with the elemental forces, with nature, right? We'll be totally charging up those aspects of you, working with the earth, lying on the earth in your lunch break. Take your shoes off, right? Don't feel weird. Get out in the sun, 10 minutes, right? Jump under the water and float.
Yeah.
Have a bath.
Yeah.
As much as you possibly can to remember the elemental forces, and that frequency, that combination is what governs life force. So you will feel better. Things will make sense, right? As long as you're engaging with that.
Yeah,
and you
makes
can
sense.
do it in your apartment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've got like so much knowledge holistically. Where do you draw inspiration from? Who are your sort of your mentors?
Good question. Okay, firstly, nature. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, there is nothing that you cannot get from nature. I take some of my biggest problems out into the forest and sit, and I unravel, right? The moon, all of that, right? The great mother, the great father, the great, all of it. That's all of that stuff, on the human dimensional, teachers and Tara Fisher's incredible, Sharon Bolt's incredible, Singing Raven, super incredible. Even it's just some of my girlfriends, right? Completely non-spiritual, ones that are just like proper into fitness and whatnot, and just kind of earthly, right? Like, you don't have to be this big guru to be able to get inspiration. I'm a woman that wears many, many hats and different faces and all sorts. And so I think honest and transparency, there's always that ability to be influenced when you're keeping it real, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. So earth, friends, and some teachers, and the moon. Very good.
Yes, stars. Oh, don't forget the stars, right? Seriously.
Can't neglect the stars.
Give it a go. Go out there, just do it tonight or
Stargazing.
Just take a problem, go and sit, and just throw it up to nature. Okay, what should I do about this? I just sit and just wait.
And if it doesn't give you an answer, then go to you.
I guarantee you wait long enough, you'll get there.
So with like, I know how much like energy you put into your teachings and your practices as well. Like, you become part of that process. Obviously you have to give yourself time to recharge. So what does a normal week look like for Kelly? Balancing everything you're doing with all your practices.
Okay, so if I'm not teaching at 5 a.m. in the morning for asana, I'm doing it myself, or I'm walking out into forest with my cats. So daily cat walks are something that are 100% aligned with me, right? I have 3 little pussy cats, and only 2 of them come out walking, but I will go off and sit with nature for at least an hour a day, wherever I can. It's generally either at the beginning or the end of the day.
And you're moving closer to the city as well, but still in nature.
Yeah,
Best
absolutely.
of both worlds.
I've got that backdrop, right? Fine line. And so, Yeah, that is for me a massive recharge, like everything I share with you that I recommend, I do for myself, and that's
Practice
basically,
what you preach.
Absolutely, right? I get on the earth, I take my shoes off, I have baths, I sit with fire, all of that type of stuff. Eat well, but hey, yeah, I still drink coffee and I still, it's ebb and flow, right? It's like there's that fine line between engaging in life and ensuring that it doesn't control you, right? So that's my really kind of go-to things again are, nature, rest. My altar, I work a lot with altars and things like that and, all of the unseen kind of aspects. So that helps me navigate
cool.
massively.
Very good.
Yeah.
Busy life.
Well, yeah, there's one thing, right? People think that living a life with spirit is this thing that's a get out of jail card. It's just like, oh, but I'm spiritual and everything's just going to be fine. I'm just going to throw them love.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
No.
You got to work for this stuff,
Yeah.
It's like, what it's like getting up at 5 a.m. to do that work. It's like, but there's an exchange that happens.
Yeah, fully.
You need to move things out of the way to create space for it. That's where the work is. Once you're in it, you don't need to do anything.
Yeah, fully. And I think for those that are like keen, because I've had some people that are sort of keen to explore that 10-day detox and, some people might not have done it before. Maybe they have on smaller, scales. But what sort of the steps that people would take maybe to engage with yourself for that 10-day detox, or if they just wanted to give it a crack themselves, like how do they go about that? Yeah,
absolutely. I think the first thing is the intention, right? So don't come and see me if you're just gonna sit and moan and not want to look at the reasons why or be able to be a little bit uncomfortable. That's the first thing. That's my boundary there. But if people are wanting to really kind of give it a go, it's not that hard. It's not that scary. What makes it easier when we're together, right? And a lot of people, show back up again. They're like, oh my God, I got so much out of it, like you said, right? So get in touch. There's one coming up in October.
Okay.
But Kelly Phoenix Rose on all platforms.
That's a perfect opportunity. Sober October coming up.
For you?
Oh, I'm already doing it. I'm having like a good runway into Sober October. So a good 2 months off before silly season starts for me.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I love my sort of breaks every sort of quarter. I get stuck into, sort of like what I was doing when I did the 10-day. Sort of did a month then and, another 2 months until November. But, I'm feeling like I have to do them more and more as I get older.
Yeah,
definitely didn't have to do them as much when I was younger.
Yeah, definitely right. It does. It takes work because we feel more as our energy, starts to shift closer as we do get older to Earth. It starts to really go, hey, you need to learn how to work with this frequency. You need to know how to work with your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, a couple more questions
Oh,
before we wrap
bring
up.
it.
Number one, I think like anyone performing at a higher level in any niche and everyone that I sort of bring on here, there's a common thread between like, performing at a higher level and also, stuff outside of that, whether it's hobbies, interests, arts, what sort of some of the things aside from nature that you might engage with, whether it is reading, arts, hobbies, what sort of stuff do you balance your day-to-day with?
Gosh, wow. Okay. I love to sing.
Okay.
Playing the guitar is something that I'd go to. If I had more time, absolutely. I would be drawing more. I love to draw.
Yeah.
Having fun, right? Like I even text a couple of girlfriends the other day and as I'm moving house, I found some rollerblades. Yeah. And I took pictures. I was like, why haven't I worn these in like ever? So like silly stuff, like playful stuff. It's like, well, why not? Like bring back the playfulness. I sent him a picture like, can we go rollerblading? And everyone like rolled their eyes. I was like, oh, come on, So playfulness, right? Like, anything like that. I don't really have like a thing. It's more engage with the moment and let it flow. And if there's something that I'm not aligned with, then I'll be like, oh no, I don't like that. That's something that would be really fun is to move out of the schedule of going, okay, wake up and do practice or this or that, is like going, okay, complete time off. It's like, freedom. But that is in alignment with my cycle. I must say it's not every time, right? So in somewhat I'm still working, right? But this is a lifestyle.
That's right.
I'm never going to be, I'm never not going to be able to, never want to.
Yeah.
Never want to tap out of the magic that I live in, right?
Yeah.
It really does provide such depth and stability, right? So in somewhat it's like, how do I align it to engage at the right time, the things that allow for all of this reflection, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like, well, when do I play with my rollerblades? When do I go for a massage?
Yeah.
You know, when do I go to the gym and actually push through and put some more weights on those barbells, you know? All of that kind of stuff has a rhythm. So
Yeah, that's good. Someone else who answered that question on a previous podcast called it a work and life blend, which I thought was an interesting take versus like work-life balance, because sometimes you don't really have the balance, you know, you have to go all in with work sometimes. You might take a big break at once. So it's really hard to strike that sustainable everyday balance. But if you blend it together and know that there's going to be periods of highs and lows, it's a much better way of looking at it, right?
Absolutely. Like one of my biggest goals is to have a job that I don't need to have a vacation from.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Like I should be able to love what I do in all of its glory enough to be nourished from it at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But then we look at other aspects of attachments and things like that and all this stuff we're not going to go into. But yeah, well said. I love that. Blendy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Blend it. And last but not least, if you could wind back the clock and ask yourself anything or give yourself a piece of advice in your former 18-year-old self, what would you say?
Oh, shit. If only you could see the memories that are coming up now of my 18-year-old self. I'm going to give you a pain, like shaved head. Okay, what advice at 18 would be stop buying everyone drugs. Get them to give you the drugs.
Get your own drugs.
Right? Or maybe, I don't know, like keep going. You know, don't be scared to feel yourself fully more. Right? Like, 'cause I was pretty amazing at 18, right? I was wild, don't get me wrong. I learned how to cultivate and put a nuzzle on that beast, right? But I could definitely relate to, you know, there was a lot of avoidance. You know, I never really wanted to feel anything. I was more like, kind of out.
We don't know ourselves at 18, right?
Totally.
Like, I definitely didn't.
Totally.
In my mid-20s, I started to figure myself out, you know?
Oh, still now. I feel so
true.
confused.
We're always learning and growing, right? It doesn't stop.
Yeah. I'd say, you know, it's okay to sleep.
Yeah. Rest more.
It's okay to sleep.
Give yourself a break.
Save that money that you're spending.
Oh, seriously. The amount of money I would have.
No, absolutely not. I had a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
think that was
good.
a good one.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
enough,
That's
yeah.
fantastic. Well, look, I really appreciate everything you've done for me personally, for the team, and keen to, see like you start to get out to market more. And there's so many things that, we're going to be doing together in the future, no doubt. The universe making us dress together means that, there's a lot more that the universe is making us do. But yeah, I'm stoked that you're sort of on this path, and I'm looking forward to what the future brings for you, and no doubt you're going to be helping many more lives to come.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, I'm really, really grateful for GMS to get involved and, be so open and inspiring to be able to integrate this stuff into the workforce and to, all of your staff. It does really make that a difference between people and businesses, right?
For sure. Like, it helps with the culture.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, is received.
Yes.
Right? Every engagement that I've had with you guys has been just as rewarding. Yeah. So thank you for all the work you do.
The team loved it. So yeah, they said the best lunch and learn they've had.
Great. We'll bring it. Spread the word, guys.
That's it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Sprinkle my fairy dust.
Thank you, Kelly. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Kookaburra friend.
Yes. Very good.